monopoly on the decision about who hauls waste within the incorporated limits of a town or a city. And even though these are recyclables, they are certainly recognized as part of the municipal solid waste stream. And as such, I think it's appropriate for Mr. Hutchins to appear before the council with the request for your approval for them as a private business to provide this service within the city of Tahlequah. And I would remind Tahlequah Recycling Inc. that the approval is good only as long as the city council continues to allow that approval to stand. So we all have incentives, I guess, that are built into the decision. Council, I think a motion to approve the request of Tahlequah Recycling Inc. to extend their curbside recycling program on a citywide basis would be in order.
Make a motion we approve.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Is there a second?
Next up, we have discussion and possible action on a request from the Cherokee Phoenix newspaper to grant permission to block Katua Street from Muskogee to Water Avenues on September 4th, 2010 from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. for a celebration to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the Independent Free Act Press. Brian Pollard explains.
Brian, you are the publisher of the Cherokee Phoenix, correct?
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about your event.
Like it says in the request there, this year is the 10th anniversary of our Independent Press Act, which gave the tribal newspaper statutory independence from the other branches of government of Cherokee Nation. And so we're going to celebrate that anniversary by having an event in front of what we call the old Supreme Court building there on Katua and Water. And so we'd like to have that block cordoned off so that we can set up a little riser and some chairs, and we'll have some speakers and that kind of thing. The event itself will probably only be about an hour, but we're allowing more time to set up and take care of it. And it's being tied into the bigger Cherokee National Holiday structure.
Next, we have discussion on ordinance number 1172-2010, rezoning lots 6 and 7, Block 3, Cherokee Hills Edition, at the corner of Park Hill Road and Monroe, from R2 to C3 to allow for construction, office, warehouse, and outside sales.
Well, we're just trying to get it rezoned so I can have, I got a bunch of houses down there, maybe I can start my warehouse.
Okay. Joe, this has come through P&Z?
Yes.
Nature of the vote, 50?
Unanimous for approval, I believe.
Next, we have discussion and possible action to approve the site plan for the new elementary school at Southridge.
It had jagged property lines, but it was done that way to make the square footage of the swap to be exactly the same, and I let them know that it doesn't have to be precisely the same. I mean, we can just get close. If that would straighten out the boundaries, that would solve the problem.
And by the same token, kind of a similar question is they have an access road. Will they have to acquire an easement for that? I presume that runs, does that run through any an easement area right now?
Now that I don't know.
Okay, I didn't know if there was a discussion.
Which access road is that?
The one that goes by the detention ponds of Mr. Wright.
The one that they've already acquired that easement from the Garners.
Okay.
They're going to relocate some fence and bring a water line over to the Garners property and some stuff like that. But they've already acquired that easement.
Good. Yeah, so you can expect that when Mr. Medeiros gets done with working with the architects on getting the maps kind of squared away, that we'll see that back here at the council for your consideration.
Yeah, I assumed we wouldn't forget.
Yeah,
I try to do it normally.
It's all about details.
Will it be a public street? No. Okay. Private road.
That one running off to the southwest there, south and west is private road.
Any accidents, how will that be handled? I know it's a private road. It's a bus route. It's a bus loop is basically what it is. They were informed that if they wanted it to be a public road, it had to be designed to our standards, and meet our standards and have an easement. So, as of this date, it's a public or private drive. I was just curious. We went over that pretty heavy.
And we're still planning on punching through, outside of that question, we're still planning on the extension of, what's the road runs in front of it?
Oh, from the complex out there? That's a two circle, I don't.
It's a private
Willis.
access.
Whitmore Lane, thank you.
Yeah, we're like, punching off the.
Punching on into the north, into the South Ridge Division,
When we start
or
construction,
existing easement.
when we start constructing on Willis Road, you're gonna have an ingress egress for emergency vehicles and getting through there, so we're gonna punch that 200 feet.
This is gonna be a permanent punch through? Going into the South Ridge Station.
Which ties in with this question about is that public road, private road?
Gotcha.
How can vehicles get through there? Will we have additional access in and out of South Ridge area? Yeah. All right.
Next up, we have discussion and possible action to approve a proposed agreement for a land lease with Northeast Oklahoma Public Facilities Authority and the City of Tahlequah for the purpose of constructing and operating a compressed natural gas station.
How'd you get the glory on this? I did all the work.
I don't know, but we don't have a footprint or a lease, so you failed us on that one there. So with that, we're gonna ask it to be tabled till mid-month.
Is that right?
You're too quick to try to take credit there.
See, it's not my fault, see.
I asked Mr. Crouch earlier today.
Yeah, he was bragging about it. So with that, I asked that since we didn't get it in the packets, everything, so we asked it to be tabled.
You got one that was,
Didn't you just distributed that last Friday?
You emailed me saying you were going to, but like I said, I was stuck in place without any kind of data connection at all, so I wasn't able
Well,
to.
do we have,
Brenda.
do we have a footprint in a?
You better be fast on the camera action over there. I'm about to whip off this guy over here.
This site is located at.
So that's my boy,
Parkway
Kevin Smith.
And Woodard Avenue. And you all should have a footprint, and you should have a lease that worked really hard on it. No, I can't take any credit for that.
The main thing is, I see a copy of the lease agreement. Jason, you have one as well. Have one?
I was told that it was coming, but like I said, I was out of town for so long, I don't know, I'm looking at it now.
I'll let him read mine and he can do it about 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's particularly complicated. The upshot is, I'm happy we can go to, we've been requested to consider several months. Shh, as your kindergarten teacher used to say. Because she was my mother. The meal off. The upshot on this is that Kevin started discussing with General Manager of the Gas Authority several months ago, and the Gas Authority has been taking actions to utilize grant monies and some of its own funds to construct and operate a public use compressed natural gas filling station, basically. And they have asked the city to consider granting them a piece of land. And Kevin, I think, was one of the first to suggest that this site that's out there next to just the OSBI building and kind of across the street from the Gas Authority headquarters is city-owned property, one that we don't have an intended other use for, 1.58 acres. And we think that it met the interests of the authority. We don't foresee a problem with a long-term lease on that, that we would basically grant to the authority. They assume all the costs of constructing and operating and maintaining that facility. At the end of the term, at the city's, I think, sole discretion, the site would be cleaned up and delivered back to the city as we delivered it to them to begin with, or